Hey everybody, this is a really quick video about options. This is mostly for beginners, but I've met so many people in this game who didn't really know a lot of the stuff that I'm about to tell you there, and it makes your gameplay so much easier, and it makes it so much easier to actually see what's going on and survive in certain situations. So we'll start off in the options with combat here. First thing you want is your ability bar to always show. You want to see which skills you've got equipped. You see it down here on triangle. I got the beast trap. On circle, inner light, or on the other bar on R1, my elemental blockade. This is very important if you want to get to know your rotation and get to know your skills, so you can always have it in your view and see what you're doing actually. Then you've got your attribute bars that you should always show yourself as well. Resource numbers. These are numbers like your own health or like the enemy health, a boss's health, for example. And I would always set that to number and percent, so you can actually see how much health a boss in a trial has left and how far you still have to go, and actually realize how much health a boss even has, because certain bosses in different trials have different amounts of health points and are easier or harder to take down. The combat tips, if you're new, I would always leave that on automatic. If you're not new to the game and you know what you're doing and you don't need them anymore, just set them off to don't show. But your ultimate numbers should be on. That also shows at the right side. I've got 500 right now, which is the maximum you can have in this patch. So you just want to know how much ultimate you have, because in your skills it actually shows you how much your ultimates costs. This one costs 190, for example. This one costs 237. So you know what you can do. Alright, let's go back to the options then. Combat text, I would just put it on. I think it is anyway. It is important though, because the outgoing damage, even if I'm just running around here and attacking harmless and innocent little goat like that one. Or can I not? Oh, it's already dead, I think. Somebody else already... Oh, did they kill all of these goats? Well, either way, it will actually show you how much damage exactly, that was 4,000, an attack does. And you will actually see if you manage to get a crit or not, or if it's just base damage, or if it's AoE or dot damage over time. So you want that as well. Then buffs and debuffs, also put them on always show. You want to know what buffs are on you. You want to know if the healer is buffing you with a certain thing. Only the permanent effects you can turn off. That's things like being a vampire, I guess, or things that are there forever anyway, and that you should know about. So right now I've only got my food or drink as a buff actually, and I'm quickly going to go into the installment to show you something else. Do you see these pink circles there? Here. Or that one. That's what's coming up right now in the next part of the options, after you've settled all your combat damage numbers, buffs, etc. And that is so important. It's in gameplay, and it's enemy colors. You have to set another enemy color, because honestly, what you get started with, see it under my feet right now, something is attacking me, I should get the fuck out of it, because it's usually just set to a very dark red that you can hardly ever see in any of the dungeons. So you want to get an enemy color, you want to turn the custom colors on, and you want to get an enemy color that is bright and visible to your eyes, so you actually know what to get out of and what not to stand inside of. Because there are so many people in dungeons, in arenas and trials that get killed by AoEs because they can't see them. But if you set the enemy color to something bright and turn the brightness all the way up, you will definitely see it. And it will let you know to get out of there. Next up is the ground casting abilities. There are certain abilities like a sorcerer's liquid lightning or a Templar's spear here, for example. If you wanted to aim the spear at somewhere in particular, you can still do it by pushing the button down and going with the crosshair in front of your face there. If you're a healer and you're new and you want to really make sure that your heals are on point and everything, you might not want to do this, but as a DD, as a damage dealer, DPS, I would definitely do that, because you don't have to push the button twice, you just have to push it once and it'll land wherever your crosshair is facing. And that is also in gameplay, underneath the enemy color, that is Quickcast ground abilities. You want to turn that on if you're a damage dealer, and you want to also turn it on if you're a healer and you've got some experience with healing and where to land your healing fields actually. So, that's so much for that. Let's see if we got anything here. Tutorials, you can turn them off if you know what you're doing. If you need some assistance because you're new to the game, I'd leave them on anyway. So that's the main parts really in combat and in gameplay. And then there's social. You can set the hot chat display on here, and I would turn it on really, because there's so much going on in certain areas. Like here, someone's looking for a group for dolmens, someone's trying to sell crowns, another person's looking for a group for dolmens, and you will always see that text on the right side of your screen. I know it's a bit annoying at first if you've never had it on, but it's really worth it, because in a lot of places people are looking for help with a world boss, and you might want to join it because you don't have that world boss yourself yet. Or they're looking for trials, they're looking for people for that, or they're looking for dolmens like here in Alikir Desert a lot. So having that on in your options in social, the text display, is a really good idea. Of course, then you've got a profanity filter that you can turn on or off if you wanted to, and the leaderboard notifications from your friends or guildmates if they manage to get any of the leaderboards. That just depends on if it interests you or not. And then down here you can set all the chat colors, so you will get a different color in the chat as well. The next thing is nameplates. This is only really required if you're trying to go for harder stuff, like veteran trials, veteran hard mode trials, veteran hard mode DLC trials. Or some people really like that on in Maelstrom Arena, because you can remember the names of certain enemies and it will show you the name of the enemies as well. And then you know that you have to take them out first. So there's a lot of settings for that, but it's definitely well, I can do fine without it, to be honest, but some people want that. It just makes my whole PS4 gameplay a little bit slower. Okay, let me just quickly check if we found everything. Interface, camera, yeah, that's something different. We've already been through here. Tutorials, audio, video. Oh yeah, audio. The subtitles, in some content, it's really good to have them on. Like, first of all, if you want to do stories and all, the quests, you might want to be able to read that in case you don't understand everything. But also in certain trials, like if you're trying Veteran Maw of Locage, for example, and you're doing the twins bosses, and 3 people are gonna get a color conversion on their head and have to change sides and run, or else they'll kill everybody with their explosion. The subtitles will tell you that. It'll just say conversion on the screen and you can look out for it. So in a lot of trials or content, the subtitles, having them on is actually helpful. If it bothers you, turn them off, but remember to turn them on if you're going into a certain trial, because there will be hints from bosses as such. That is good to read them, especially if you're in a party and a lot of people are talking at the same time. You can't really hear the game sound so well. Subtitles will definitely benefit you there. And then video is just the random screen settings and all. But yeah, that's pretty much what you should look out for when you're playing this game. Especially the enemy colors, AoEs and all that. It makes it so much easier to not die and not stand in stupid. Alright, I hope this was helpful to all the beginners and maybe some older players alike. Well, yeah, have a good weekend, everyone. See ya.